Here's some shit that needs to be talked about much more publicly, and I hope that the Trump administration will get to the point where they start pushing this publicly. This is connected to the idea of so-called transgender children.
Mm.
Now,
Oh yeah.
I'm going to lay out where I come from. I don't give a shit if people don't like it.
Preach.
There is no such thing as a transgender child, but
Preach.
because there is no such thing as a transgender person. That is not a real category that exists in the world.
Spicy take.
That's
Amen.
it. It's not spicy. It's normal and it's real, and everyone knows it's true. Even the people who are angry at me right this very moment for what I said, they know that I'm telling the truth. There is no person on earth who was born in the wrong body.
That's
There
true.
is no
That's
person
100%
on
true.
earth who can change their sex. That's it.
That's
all I'm
100%
saying
true.
about
That's
it.
not
I
spicy. I
don't care
agree.
what anyone says. Stop the nonsense.
I mean,
So,
hold on. Well, Josh, hold on. I got to disagree with one thing.
Okay.
The take had you said this take wasn't spicy. There's a little bit of Scotch bonnet pepper in it, just a little bit.
Only by comparison. Only that's the problem. I'm not criticizing you guys, but the very fact that you thought to call that spicy shows what a problem this is.
Yeah.
I just said something completely rational and normal.
I was going to say, Josh, I think there is, because you said there's no such thing as trans people.
Yep.
I think, I think there is such a thing as people who, I don't know, feel better or feel more like they're a woman or feel more like they're a man, even though they're not. But
you're not arguing with me. I didn't dispute that.
Right, exactly. So that's why
I said. There's no such thing as a person who is born in the wrong body.
So that's why I said
not
that originally.
Real.
But then as soon as you clarified that, yeah, you're not born in the wrong body, I agree with that too. You cannot just change your sex 100%. So that it became a lot less spicy after I heard those clarifications.
Sure. I was only joking. I was joking.
Here's the reason I brought up so-called trans children. This is the real point, and we can think about this in terms of the claims of autism as well. We all know this. Y'all are going to see it the moment it comes out of my mouth. Transing your child is simply Munchausen syndrome by proxy. These are the same mothers that we knew of from the 1990s when it was the topic of movie of the week, who would put Lysol in their children's tomato soup or claim that her daughter had cancer. We know about the Dee Dee Blanchard case for sympathy and adulation. This is not like Munchausen by proxy. It's not eerily similar. It is Munchausen syndrome by proxy. This is direct, obvious, sick, female maternal child abuse, and it is time for us to say it in public.
Transhausen by proxy.
Yeah,
Transhausen by proxy is a very real thing, and yes, it might be a pejorative, but the fact that
it should be.
It absolutely should be.
That is a horrible sin. That is the worst sin against your child that could that I could possibly imagine. These parents should be in prison.
I agree.
You know, it's also I agree 100%. It's predatory and it's selfish and it's delusional, because I think some of these mothers believe that it's true and they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, they have cluster B personality disorders,
and those people, cluster B people, generally tend to, especially narcissistic personality and probably a couple of the other ones, they tend to warp reality to whatever they feel like they should or whatever they think is virtue signaling. And I wanted to bring up too, especially when the fathers are involved or they're married, it's like, this is where the men need to step up and stand up and be like, hey, I love you, honey, but this is not what you do with our children. This is crazy.
Well, they don't. What incentive? What incentive? No, it's not. It's not just that.
Or they believe
if I can go no. It's something else. It's worse than that, because these fathers are kept from doing what they need to do to protect their kids. They are kept from doing this in some states by law. Even in states that you wouldn't expect. Because I seem to remember this case. This guy was just on the internet talking. It was just on X talking about it. I cannot remember his name, but he had been fighting to get his son back from the mom that had transed him. Okay, and he fought through. I think his last name is Younger, if I'm not mistaken.
Younger.
Yeah, Jeff Younger. Yeah, Jeff Younger. That guy fought like hell to get his son back and lost. And it was the worst thing because the mother
is
the
a
mother
psychopath in my view.
the mothers these children's mothers will take the kids, traffic them into another state, do all sorts of shit to that child, and will have the blessing of the state, the blessing of the government
Vermont
to
is
do
one
that.
of them. Yep.
Vermont, New York,
Minnesota,
California,
Colorado. Yeah. These are literally kidnapping facilitation laws. They're human trafficking facilitation laws. They are parental kidnapping and parental mutilate. This is mutilation. It is vivisection. I mean this physically. This is surgical torture.
It is.
Surgical and chemical torture.
Yeah, what else could it be? I mean, it's neutering, spaying and neutering your kids, and I mean, it's like one of the. The funny thing is, if you think about it, it used to be one of the worst things. If you ask any man, like most men, and when I was growing up, and like they'd rather have their fucking left arm cut off than have their dick cut off, right?
Of course.
But now it's just like, no, this is great. We have to do this. This is care to do this to our sons, and it's like, wow. Okay, we're gonna do this to minors. You don't let them smoke cigarettes. Don't let them get a tattoo.
You know why we're in this sorry state is it's another example of the toxic feminine is out of control.
Mm-hmm.
Women get away with the most egregious social and legal crimes in our modern society, and are let off for it. They never see the inside of a courtroom. It is just absolutely incredible. These laws are literally written for abusive mothers. I mean, and that is actually what they're written for. And it is astonishing to me.
Yeah, and you're not allowed. I mean, like there's this whole, we've seen this throughout woke stuff. It's like there's this whole shield that they have of whether it's talking about race, you're a racist, so you can't question it. If you disagree with women, you're sexist. If you disagree about this topic, you're transphobic and sexist.
Yep.
Or homophobic. They just
it's even worse.
The homophobic part.
You're not just sexist. You're misogynist.
Misogynist.
That's the emotional. This is the cluster B emotional inflation. It's histrionic personality style.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Catastrophizing and exaggerating, like you were talking about earlier in the show.
Yeah.
Chavez.